And good morning, my friends, and TGIF. Welcome to Friday. We have a lot of stuff going on today. Got our girl Chloe Jade backstage. We are expecting a special guest, so please hang tight. And sometimes we know that people get busy. Sometimes people are like, I don't want to get involved. Either way, no harm, no foul. Let's take a second and tell everyone happy Friday. You guys have been chatting and chatting and chatting in here. And look at that. Pat K just gifted a Crime Lines and Laws membership. What am I going to do with you girls? Welcome your neighbor. So glad you're here and so glad it is finally Friday. I'm just really hoping that this weather cooperates this weekend. Well, you know what they say, April showers bring May flowers. Well, how you gonna mow? My goodness. And it's not even April anymore, so calm down. All right, without further ado, I'm going to bring up our friend Chloe Jade. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Woo, girlfriend, we had a busy day yesterday, did we not?
Yes, we did. Hey guys, I'm so happy to be here with you, Brooks.
Yeah. DT Driver said, yay, Chloe's here. He gets sick of hearing my voice all the time. All right, so I did give a sneak peek to the members. We're going to go through it today. Let's go through some of our conversation we had with, well, a couple of the neighbors yesterday. What struck you as the most disturbing? One neighbor we talked to has lived there for 13 years. He said the Proud Feets have been there for 2 years and doesn't seem to have any love loss for no-ass Chris Proudfoot. So what really bothered you about what we were told?
Well, the first thing was the way that Sebastian was treated that was seen outside the house, some things that we were told, like being sprayed with the pressure washer till he had a meltdown. I thought that was awful.
And let's elaborate on that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, not everybody was on the phone call.
Yes.
Chris Proudfeet was outside and he had a pressure washer and he was spraying down the fifth wheel. Sebastian came outside, I guess, wanting to do outside things. And he started screaming at him, cussing him out, and he hosed him down with the pressure washer. Now, I don't know about you guys, but those things hurt. We use them to clean off the house. We have to turn it down to low just to wash a car because they'll take the paint off of a car. All right, go ahead, Chloe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. So that scenario right there really, really bugged me. The fact that a couple of the questions that I asked, I don't know, because you asked so many questions, but like the fact was Chris Proudfoot really gone that whole month? Like he says he was. And he said, and we were told no.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big question for me too, because that's something I've never really believed or knew if I believed. He only spoke about Sebastian as Katie's son. He never called him his son to anyone else or even his stepson.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard how he speaks about him as he's my son, like those sort of things. Just kind of debunking a lot of confirming a lot of the behavior and actions we've seen by Chris Proudfoot, and then debunking some of the things that we've all known were lies. Don't you think?
Well, because, oh no, you're exactly right. Because he's only trying to convince people now because Sebastian is missing. And there's a lot to go through. Now, we've had 3 different neighbors. We had a long conversation with one yesterday that said no, normally he would cut out of work early on Thursday and then leave out either Sunday night or early Monday morning. And the pressure washer thing happened in February. My question is, and don't get me wrong, some people say, well, February is too cold. You have a lot of nice temperatures in February. It's like a baby spring. Anyway, why that one weekend was Mr. Proudfeet away?
Right. And why lie about it and say that you've been away for a month, which has made us all suspicious of that in the first place?
Yeah. Why was Seth alienated for a month?
Exactly.
Okay. It was said by one of the neighbors that Chris Proudfoot, when asked about Sebastian, of course, we know that he would kind of pick on him. I'll put it that way. He said at school they call him Mr. Piss Pants. That's the reason Sebastian wore a pull-up. When one neighbor was asking about Sebastian, he said, that's Katie's retard.
Oh.
Now, that really, really upset me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, how disrespectful and disgusting to speak like that. It breaks my heart.
And I don't believe for a minute that the neighbors are making it up. And it's 10 times worse than we even thought. Sebastian likes to eat things like sushi, tofu, things like that. And so one time, now mind you, Chris Proudfoot was never invited. Well, he was once, okay?
Yes.
To a neighborhood picnic. Let's talk about that, Chloe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We should definitely explain that. So Chris Proudfoot was disliked by the neighbors so much to the point where when they had neighborhood cookouts and stuff, they did not invite him. He was only invited one time. And he was aggressive and not nice to anybody. So nobody wanted him around. And then, yeah, you tell him what he said about Sebastian. That's horrible.
He even said to one of the neighbors when Child Protective Services was, coming around, he said to Katie, where people could hear it, he goes or I go.
Mm-hmm.
Their last visit, he said, this marriage is not going to work out. Well, go figure. He hasn't had a marriage work out yet.
Yeah, right.
And they've roughly been there about 2 years. Because one of the neighbors we talked to yesterday said, we've been here for 13 years. He's like, I'm like 45 seconds, from the house. He's like, I walk by there all the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm hoping that they just sell the house and move. Because he's like, they've been here about 2 years. And his biggest complaint seemed to be about Chris Proudfeet.
Absolutely. So, that was the main, everything he had to say that person was about Chris. And it was it shed a lot of light onto his behavior.
Well, and he had an issue with things that Sebastian preferred to eat. One was sushi and tofu. And it was explained that Chris Proudfeet is very homophobic. And he would tell him, that's what faggots eat. That's why they were so hell-bent on the Texas Roadhouse. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I can't believe that you would even use that word. That is just a gross word to even use, in my opinion. And then to say that about food, come on. I love sushi. I mean, we all do. A lot of us. And eating healthy is something that was important to Sebastian's diet, in my assumption, due to his health related issues. So, I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, I totally believe that Chris uses that word all the time, because when he contacted me about me saying words like moobs and no ass, he called me a faggot.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Now, the CPS engagement was not because of the belt whipping.
Mm-hmm.
It actually has to do with the mattress. All right, Chloe, this is a lot.
Yeah, this is.
So Chris took his mattress, Sebastian's, out of his room because he said, I'm sick of smelling piss, and put it in the garage. When Sebastian was talking about how he sleeps in the garage at school, CPS showed up and they actually asked the neighbors, have you seen this? Help me out here, Chloe, because that's a lot for me to digest.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's a lot to even take in. Yeah, they asked other people, and they confirmed, and a neighbor we talked to confirmed that he was made to sleep in the garage, and he had heard him yelling about smelling piss, is his words. And, we all know that it was very cold there the night that he went missing. And think about the other nights leading up to that through the whole winter, that if he was made to sleep out there. And what child who I would believe I would be scared in that situation to live with a man like that. And I could understand, if a child has disabilities and certain things that, accidents can happen if you're scared.
Sure.
If you're being mistreated, if you're being abused. I mean, if you didn't do that at Seth's house.
I'm 48 years old. I don't trust a fart.
Yeah.
We can all have accidents. I mean, it's so degrading. And Sebastian comes outside thinking that he's just going to spend some quality time with his stepdaddy, and he hoses him down with the pressure washer, and that shit hurts.
Yes.
And to the point where the neighbors said Sebastian was having a total meltdown.
Yes, and Katie had to come get him because he had a total meltdown from it.
And Chris yelled, "Get your retard."
Yep. Wow. This is what the neighbors saw. Think about what happened inside behind closed doors. He has no shame whatsoever to act like this in front of everyone, to go on panels and be disrespectful and say the things he says. I mean, imagine how awful this person really is. If this is what people just around the neighborhood saw.
And whether it was caught on camera, I don't know, because one neighbor we talked to said he has 6 or 7 cameras around his house. I know the next door neighbor, who does not want to go on the record.
Yes.
He has several cameras, and they said they just got cameras 3 weeks ago. They had people over putting up cameras because they said they were being harassed, and they said, we saw those people in the neighborhood. Let's just get to the recording. Also, for those of you that are wondering, the price of 12 eggs in China is it would be $2.20 US dollars. I'll put it right there because I don't exactly know their currency. Look at that. Can't say the price of tea in China. It's
I know.
Let's take a second, and we've got some gifts coming in, you all. Thank you, Southern Grammy Wolf, for the super sticker. Thank you to Jules and Pat and TCB for gift and memberships. Now, when they did have one like barbecue in the neighborhood, okay, all Chris did was get drunk and get into it with people and say, I wear a size 14 boot.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. Well, then how come all of your ex-wives say you have a little pecker?
Right?
How are you going to have that kind of boat-looking feet and have a little pecker?
Yeah, at his height. That's crazy.
You don't have no 14 shoes. If he does, he's stuffing Walmart bags in it.
Yeah, right? That's right.
Size 14 boot. All right, Chloe, because yesterday was we had a lot going on. Woo, thanks for hanging in there with me. So let's get to it. And yes, recorded with permission.
They asked for our actually ring cam footage. They asked for the camera footage. Everyone turned it over. I don't know what or if there's anything on, say, like my neighbors or something, or the people down the street, because I mean, let's put it this way. It's a very, I don't want to put down actually law enforcement, but it's very, I mean, I think the best way to say it is they're very hard-headed right here. And I mean, do I think they're guilty?
Okay, look at me interrupting already. What he's explaining, and this is when I said, is it okay if I record all this so I don't forget anything? And he said, yeah, go ahead. He's talking about when law enforcement was going house to house to house to house, and they wanted to know who had any camera footage.
Just sitting back and they're doing nothing? Absolutely not. I mean, do I think they're investigating it and they're doing stuff that we don't know? Yeah. But
what do you think about them saying it's not a criminal investigation? So what are they investigating?
It has to be. No. Yeah. I mean, that's what we all talked about. That's what a bunch of us, all of my neighbors, that's what we all said. We said, it just doesn't make, it just doesn't make sense that it's not a criminal investigation, because you have a missing, it's actually a 15-year-old. And I mean, outside of the searches that were done by, I don't want to give names, but it was a big, it was a big actually chaos. It was big schemes with a bunch of things. And I believe that, I believe this, if we have a kid missing, or if now it's my kids are grown, but let's just say if you had one of my kids that was missing, that was 14, 15 years old. Where is the search? I mean, they scaled back the search to where there's almost no search. And I just don't get it.
What did you think about them searching the landfill?
That, now, okay, there are two different areas where the trash it actually goes. One, it goes to actually Nashville, and the second it goes to Kentucky. So now you have commercial, we'll go to Kentucky. And now, but you do have some that if we have ours, it goes to Nashville. But them searching it is something I'm just trying to see if there's, I'll say it this way. You have a lot of job sites. Their material, it goes to Kentucky.
Okay, Chloe, let's talk about the importance of this.
Okay.
So I asked him, I said, what did you think about them searching the landfill? And he explained it. You have, like, I'm just going to say regular garbage, but if it's commercial or construction related, it goes up to Kentucky. That's the landfill they searched. And we know that there's a reason for it.
Absolutely.
What did you think about that?
I don't know what there was. I don't know if it had to do with that construction site and them wondering if something, he was put in something there. That was my thought, but I don't know, because they had to have something if they went there to search.
Nobody in their right mind, law enforcement, regular people, YouTubers, whatever, are going to go to a landfill and search. And he explained it. He was like, it's because it's commercial. And we know there is some construction businesses.
Right. Exactly.
And you don't just search a landfill in a whim. You're not going to do it. No. Okay, that makes sense. So, when were you aware that Sebastian was missing? And by the way, can you come on the show tomorrow? I can just email you the link.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm not going to put your name out there. We're just going to have a conversation because this is for Sebastian.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. Okay. We found out at about, now I'm an early riser.
Me too.
I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like I told you inside my email, I did 24 years, and I'm a fighter pilot, which I'm retired now, but I get up at 4, and we found out when we seen the whole area starting to swarmed at probably about 10 to 7. And that's when they started searching around. And that's when they started like if you go in the back, you have honeysuckle, which is which from actually Stafford to it's honeysuckle. You really can't see, but it's the side back, and they started searching, and that's where it started. So that's about the time frame, which I would say is about probably 10 to 7 or somewhere right near 7. And this is AM. This isn't it's so that's actually that timeline. But now it's just a mystery.
Okay, and we're going to get to this. Okay. 10 till 7 is when basically hell broke loose. That's the reason I was saying yesterday there's a big difference between 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. And I think anyone that sticks their neck out and speaks publicly on the record should be respected. All right?
I do too.
So he's saying 10 till 7 is when they started noticing the activity. That tells me a lot. Thank you guys for the gifted memberships. I cannot believe you girls today and guys. So we've heard she went to wake him up at 6:30. We've heard she went to wake him up at 6 a.m. But he's saying at about 10 till 7 is when the activity started in the neighborhood.
Right.
Law enforcement went door to door to door to door, wanting camera footage.
Yeah, right away.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to figure it out. But now I can say from just being a neighbor, which your friendly neighbor, he's not the type of person that I associate with. And I say that because he...
You mean Chris Proudfoot?
Yes. He's very loud, and it has to be right, and he has to be right, or you have the whole conversation is basically done with.
Mm-hmm.
And he does, which I don't drink, but he does drink. Now, did I witness any? No, I know. But my friend's daughter, she works in actually Texas Roadhouse. She doesn't know that now she wasn't working the night that they went in, but she had seen them in there the 2 weeks before that, and something that Sebastian wanted, or I don't know exactly if it was something that they didn't serve, or I'm not 100%, but he got from, now this is just hearsay part, is that he got very angry and they ended up leaving. And this was 2 weeks.
Now, who got angry? Sebastian got angry. Katie got angry. The staff got angry. Who got angry?
No, it was Chris who got angry.
Oh, I thought he wasn't home the whole month of February. Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
No.
He said, no. So, a woman that works at the Texas Roadhouse, for whatever reason, Dum Dum, I guess, didn't like his tater tots or something, and he got real angry because I said, now who are we talking about? The wait staff? We're talking about Sebastian, Katie? No, it was Chris that got all pissed off in the restaurant. And then, of course, we go into his regular schedule. Question is, why wasn't he home that weekend?
Right. And why lie about the fact that he hadn't been home that whole month, too? I mean, that still doesn't make sense. And then that weekend, he's just not there. I mean, there's no way this wasn't pre-planned. I don't know, in my opinion. I can't see chat, and people might disagree with me, but I just really believe that this was, like, coming to a head.
I think we're all on the same page here. And if anybody has any questions about law enforcement and what they know, the neighbors have been heavily spoken to. So 2 weeks before, they're at the Texas Roadhouse, and Chris has one of his good old shit fits. Listen to it again.
And something that Sebastian wanted, or I don't know exactly if it was something that they didn't serve, or I'm not 100%, but he got from, now this is just hearsay part, is that he got very angry and they ended up leaving. And this was 2 weeks.
Now, who got angry? Sebastian got angry? And the reason I ask this question is, who got so angry that they up and left the restaurant, the Texas Roadhouse, 2 weeks before? He said it was something Sebastian wanted, and he said it was Chris that got so upset. They got angry and left. Something Sebastian wanted. Well, God forbid he wants an extra roll or he wants some dessert. How many of you have been at a restaurant where your child wants to order the whole damn menu?
Many times.
Yeah. You're in public. You're not going to have a meltdown and come unglued. No. Katie got angry. The staff got angry. Who got angry?
No, it was Chris who got angry.
Oh, I thought he wasn't home the whole month of February. Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
No. He would leave. Now, you know he has a fifth wheel, okay? Now, I'm gonna have to look at the date from 2 weeks from the day before, because that's when they were in there. Now, he would come home sometimes on the weekends, and that's when they would get like a bunch of stuff done. And then he would take off again, and he would go back, and then he would be gone. But that's what happened. Now, it's just, I mean, I'm trying to put a timeline, like, I mean, you basically had me and my wife, we've been scratching our heads saying, well, is there something that, but it's just things that you just can't, I mean, it's just things that we don't know. Now, I will tell you this. Now, I mean, I know from experience, and because I have family members, you have my brother-in-law, actually, he's a lawyer, but I can tell you this. They have been getting, I can't say every day because I don't watch every day, but I have to pass to actually go into town that way, but for the last probably 45 days, I would say every other day they've been, it's actually not detectives, I think they're getting regular visits by, it has to be actually their attorney. So I don't know.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay, all right.
So,
Now, has law enforcement followed up with you or any of your neighbors recently?
No. I mean, the only thing they did was they actually took the ring. Footage, and I have 6 cameras on actually my house. Well, actually 4, and then there's 2, but it's 6, and they actually downloaded it, which didn't show anything, and but we've had nothing else. I mean, we didn't have there hasn't been a recanvass, or like there hasn't knocked on the door and said, have you thought of this, or have you, I mean, it's basically been quiet.
Well, I mean, I can see what my neighbors, are doing around our neighborhood. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you if anything was unusual, let's say if somebody around here went missing. But did you notice anything unusual that weekend? Was there like a lot more activity in their home or what? I mean, because obviously something went down because Sebastian's missing.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, and then to think that there's no scent. Now,
Well, that's because Chris said the dogs aren't credible and they're dishonest.
No, I mean, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I mean, you have a canine is going to pick up a scent, and it's just kind of well established.
Mm-hmm.
But now that weekend, and this is what the whole thing is with a whole bunch of neighbors. We never really okay. Now if we watch each other's houses, like if we're watching, and like if we see something strange, but there isn't one that have said that they saw something strange. And
Okay. And this is important because they didn't really see anything strange except that Chris Proudfeet wasn't home that weekend. Because before he would cut out of work early, come home sometime on Thursday, and then leave Sunday evening or early Monday morning. But the weekend, Sebastian goes missing. And we already know that he said either he goes or I go.
Yeah.
He told Katie Proudfeet that this marriage isn't going to work out. Something about Sebastian rubs Chrissy Poo the wrong way.
Sure does.
And all of it just makes me sick.
Me too. I have to say too, when you were talking to him, you got a lot of information out of him. But whenever I talked to him as well, he was very forthcoming. Like every question I had, there was no hesitation. He's really seemed to be he wanted the truth to be known. You know what I mean? That was the take that I got from him. So I really do believe, and like he said, he's a retired fighter pilot. This is a legit person. You know what I mean? This isn't just some random that we get sometimes on the internet that wants to insert themselves into something. You know what I mean?
No, and I mean, I've seen a couple of comments in here saying this is just neighborhood gossip. Listen, I understand neighborhood gossip, and I understand when the FBI and different agencies give you a card and say, we are going to need all of your camera footage. That is a little more than shooting the shit over the fence, period.
Yes.
And, a couple of the attitudes that I'm seeing in here, that is the reason people do not speak out and they don't do what they should do.
Right. That's true.
And
we should be thankful. I feel like I feel like you got a lot of information yesterday that we've had a lot of questions about. And to me, it was a very good interview that you did with him. And, and like I said, he was willing to answer my questions as well, like very forthcoming. I don't have I'm respectful of him.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, it's no secret. He's not a fan of Chris Proudfoot. I don't think that he's going to go out on a limb and just make stuff up about him. I just don't.
No. I don't think so at all. That's not what I got from that at all. I think he really wants people to know how Sebastian was being treated and what was going on because he saw stuff that was wrong.
The question is, why did Katie Proudfeet not do anything about what was going on? And yes, people did reach out to Child Protective Services. They did. And that's when they were asked again, have you seen anything else? What do you know about the mattress? Yeah. So it's not like no one in the neighborhood didn't do anything. Hell, they want him to pack up, sell the house, and get out of their face is what they want to do.
Right.
They want on. I mean, all you can do is reach out. Unless you're someone of authority, there's really not much you can do.
And I'm one of them. I mean, it was like a regular night. And now I do want to say this, because I seen it on one other, I seen it on, I'm not sure if actually you were talking about it, but you know where they're talking about the actual flashlight
Mhm.
Okay. Actually their backyard, which you can see from if you're on Honeysuckle, they had solar flares, which is the ones that what you buy in Walmart, and it's what you put in the ground.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know how many of them, but it actually was a circle. Now, can somebody be saying that the solar flare actually was a flashlight? I don't know.
Now that's interesting. And also, you said you have cameras around your house. Why did they
Yes.
not have any cameras? She used to work for Brinks. If she doesn't still work for them.
No, they just put actually cameras in 3 weeks ago. They just put. There were 3 Brinks trucks. I actually know it's actually one of the guys because it's one of the same guys who actually worked on
Okay, so what he was explaining before I started recording is everyone's house, when you buy a house in that neighborhood, there are motion detector lights. Like when you walk into someone's driveway, backyard, whatever, and it's dark, they'll come on. He calls them solar flares, they're solar lights. And, I'm really sorry that some people, and I knew this was going to happen, are going to scream and yell saying, why didn't this person do more? Why didn't this person do more? You can only make so many phone calls. Could you imagine if you're outside washing your car and you spray your kid with the water hose or the pressure washer and they're like, oh, I was just having fun. Now, pressure washers, in my opinion, hurt. But without any injuries, what do you expect them to do? Right. And he also explains the HOA and how Chris had issues with it. It's disturbing.
Chris has issues with rules and following rules, in my opinion. So that's not shocking at all about the HOA.
No. And I couldn't imagine spraying a human being with a pressure washer.
No. That's awful.
And, we have heard many times, people saying that Sebastian has sensory issues.
Mm-hmm.
Then why spray him with a pressure washer?
Exactly. Because he knew it was going to make him have a meltdown, and that's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. And he said, Katie comes out and brings him in. And for those of you that didn't hear the beginning of the show, the whole pressure washer is to clean off the RV, the fifth wheel. He liked being mean. He liked being mean.
Yes,
that's the reason they won't invite him to any neighborhood picnic or anything.
One of my outside cameras. Now, I just recognized him and I just waved and he waved, but we never had a talk. But from what I understand, they just put 3 cameras in.
Okay.
And what the word is it was for their safety.
Nobody's bothering them.
And I said the same thing when they made a big thing about certain people that were searching, and I seen the guy drive up and down the road.
Okay.
It actually didn't bother me any. I mean, if you have people out there searching,
I think when he's talking about the guy going up and down the road, I think he's about JLR when he went to the neighborhood. And we'll talk about that because I'm just like, look, nobody should have been. I'm like, nobody's bothering them. No one. And I mean, I know a lot of people are fixated on the pressure washer. Hell, I thought I was so smart one day because I was using our pressure washer to clean off the windows in the front. And here my feet are kind of nasty, dirty, as you saw on my Facebook page the other day. And I was like, well, I'll just spray them off. Damn, I thought I was going to break a toe.
why are you going to stop them?
Now, you do have to watch some crazies that are going to come into your neighborhood because, I mean, you guys have every right to live in peace. And that goes for Chris and Katie as well.
Yeah.
You know, law enforcement, they're doing the investigation. Nobody needs to be coming into your nice neighborhood.
No, and it's all of these people actually talking about, I mean, the whole other part is where they come in and they talk about, well, I mean, they're millionaires and this and that. I mean, just because we have what we have is because we worked for it, but we're not actually millionaires. I mean, just because our house is worth $700,000, I mean, $700,000 and if you go to Brentwood or you go to Franklin, Tennessee, you can't buy a shack. So,
well, and here's the whole thing. Like you said, you work for it. You know, you're paying for it. It's not their business. I don't know what's going on with this society that the minute they see something nice, they get super jealous and they're like, well, they've got money. Who the hell's got money just laying around? Like, oh, I've got extra money. I've got extra money. It's because people work for what they have.
Exactly.
And that goes for Chris and Katie too. The one thing about Chris and Katie I don't get, I just do not understand, is the different stories, the fact that she called him instead of calling Seth, instead of calling 911. Now, it has been said that she was never outside in the neighborhood looking for Sebastian. Do you know if she was or not?
The only thing that I know, now I didn't see her it's actually personally, so I cannot say that. But what I can say is it's been rumored by the neighbor Cliff, who lives to the right of them, that she did go out by vehicle, but she was only out for about maybe 10 minutes. And
okay. So we basically have Candace Wells 2.0. She got into her vehicle and drove around for 10 minutes.
Wow. Can you imagine you're missing your child and you just look for 10 minutes? It's crazy.
Yeah, 10 minutes, and then you call fat fuck, size 14, in Memphis. I mean, come on. 10 minutes?
Right?
How long would you search for something you love?
I wouldn't stop.
And like I said, they have cameras around there. They can tell you how long she was gone.
Yeah.
45 minutes. They have all this.
Hmm.
Now, to see her surf foot, or I don't think there's anyone that can see that.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
I mean-
You say that, Chris likes to drink, he's over 21. That's one thing. We've heard that Katie sometimes gets a little too tooted. Again, she's over 21. There's been, stories about someone in the neighborhood that she could be having an affair with. Have you heard any of those rumors, or is it just rumors?
I think they're just rumors, but now, now I just want to make this clear.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not accusing them of anything.
Mm-mm.
And you have Seth, which I've seen him inside the community. I've actually talked to him because he was searching and he asked some actually questions, and he had my wife was out there. And now, you don't take offense to this, but as you know, women, they like to talk. so
I'm one of them, my friend. I've got all day. I know.
So, but I'm not saying they did anything. I'm not accusing them. I'm not throwing them under the bus. I believe in that you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But right now, there's not even a crime. So,
well, then what are they investigating? Because they're not searching for Sebastian.
that is what, and that's why I think there's a lot more that they're holding to the vest. Now, on to what side? I could not answer that. Or if it's not even a side, and if someone might have lured him out and they took him out. Now, I don't know about that. But it's actually possible. But where I said about you have Chris and he likes to drink, and he is 21, and well, he's actually 40. He's actually going to be 41.
Mhm.
But he's not like one that I would sit down with and that I would have in my circle.
Mhm.
That's
Well, I don't want him in my circle either, because I think he's a heinous individual. Okay, so she was out searching for 10 minutes. Now, remember, Chris Proudfeet said that they did a 3-way call to the non-emergency number. Was she out driving around during this? Was she told to go back home so she can meet the investigators, or what was really going on there? Because 10 minutes is real quick. That's basically I showed up to the party, I told everyone hi, and I turned around and walked out because I want to get back in my pajamas and watch something on TV. That's pretty much it. It's you just made an appearance. And why was her phone on mute when she was talking to them? How can Chris Proudfeet tell them what happened or what was going on, considering he wasn't there?
Exactly. As a mom, why would you not want to call 911 immediately and say, I can't find my son, I don't know what happened, oh my gosh, I'm in panic? The first person she called was him, and then he called. That's crazy.
Yeah, a 3-way call and she was muted. Well, they need the information, and the person that's not home can't give it to them. That's ridiculous.
Right.
And Seth's private investigators say they can 100% verify that Noas wasn't home.
Yeah.
And these are Seth's private investigators. They're saying
Right.
he wasn't home.
That's just what I'm saying. I'm
He
not
just-
saying that.
He just seems to be kind of a mean person. And you're not the first person I've talked to that lives around there. You're just the first one to come on record and just say, look, this guy is he's not a nice dude.
No, he would be outside actually working on the fifth wheel, or he'd be working on his truck, and for whatever reason, he would just start screaming, and he would just start actually yelling at them, and
At Sebastian or who?
yeah.
Oh no.
He would just, now, I don't know what he was doing outside. I couldn't tell you that. But I will tell you this. Trying to figure out, okay, well, here. I know you heard some parts about it, because if actually nobody did, then I don't know where people did, but I'm sure you have. And that's because, okay, you know what was put out there about actually him being essayed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have Chris, and from what I know from the actual neighbor to the left of him, which doesn't like him at all, said,
Okay, let's be 100% transparent, because a lot of people in that neighborhood do not like Chris Proudfeet. They don't. Because he said the neighbor to the left of him does not like him at all. He's loud. He's aggressive. He uses profanity when it shouldn't be needed. From what I'm understanding, he can't just say, I'm mowing the yard. If someone says, hey, howdy, neighbor, he'll just shout back and say, I'm mowing the fucking yard. It's going to get interesting. Chloe, anything you want to add?
No, I'm still processing all of this that we heard yesterday. I'm glad I'm listening to it again.
he's very much actually, he's homophobic.
Oh, okay. So why was he going around telling people that he didn't want Sebastian around his daughter because he had like some sort of, I don't know, some sort of feeling that Sebastian was going to do something to her? I mean, what is really going on there?
That part I can't answer because I don't have any clue as to that, except I actually did hear it, but to say that I can say that I heard it with my own ears from someone that I can validate, no. But just kind of knowing them from just actually being here, I can see him. I can see him saying that.
Mm.
I
It
mean,
just makes me sick.
I mean, I can see him saying that. And now, did you happen to hear? Okay, now I don't know if you know this, but this was yesterday. This was last night. I think you touched on it. I'm not sure, but now you know Terry Lynn was out there actually searching. Okay.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay. Now she found a pair of pants, which we don't know what's going on. Now this is where I'm talking about all.
Okay, now the pair of pants that was found, by the way, Nick Barris with the local news says that they do not belong to Sebastian. And there is an HOA because Chris was called out on a community post because he wasn't paying his HOA dues. So because Zillow doesn't mention it doesn't mean there isn't one. I don't have an HOA. I wish I did because I got some neighbors that need to quit putting their damn trash can in their driveway.
I live in an HOA. I mean, I've in my neighborhood, my house that I owned before that was an HOA. It's pretty normal to live in if you live in a nicer neighborhood that you have an HOA to make sure that everybody is, compliant and doing the things they're supposed to be doing. Wouldn't want to live in a house next to you that's just has trash in their yard and things like that in a neighborhood like that.
Well, it's a love-hate relationship because, I mean, if my husband wants to change the oil in the garage, or I'm sorry, in the driveway, I don't want some nosy neighbor coming over giving us some sort of ticket or
No. Yeah.
Sale or something. So it's just keep up your damn property. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
All the offices here in Hendersonville. This is what I'm talking about. He didn't want to get wet. And he wouldn't come over to her. It took 1 hour for a sergeant, and her name is Sergeant Earhart. She is very sweet. I see her in town. She's the one who came down and she took the pants. I mean.
Okay, and that's confirmed by the news article. Hold on, we've got our good friend Justin. Yeah, I'm serious. Homeowners Association, it's a love-hate relationship. I'll say, man, I wish we had one because, some people just don't do what they're supposed to do. But nobody would want me. Hell, I'll go outside in a sports bra and biker shorts drinking a beer while I'm clipping my roses. All right, we have our good friend Justin backstage. Justin, what do you think about all this?
Hola. How you
Hey,
doing?
Justin.
Hey, Chloe. Hey, Brooks. How's everyone doing? Is my fans too loud?
No, sounds good. You look gorgeous too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So he admitted that he did not want anyone around his daughter, especially Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
And he admitted that on the phone call with Terry Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that, and he had done that interview way prior to doing, I think, any interview. Maybe it was, when was it? I know it was before the Nancy Grace interview for sure.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I know some people are saying this guy isn't credible. And if something changed with Nick Barris from the article I read, I apologize. As I have said a million times before, you're not going to get breaking news here. Just not going to happen. I'm not an investigator. Do you find this neighbor to be credible, Justin? Just your opinion.
I mean, from what I've heard, I mean, I don't think she. I mean,
It's a
yeah.
man. Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
I know. Okay, that's all right.
I get mistaken for a woman all the time, so don't feel bad.
Oh,
I'll go to a drive-through and they're like, "Yes, ma'am." I'm like, "No problem, honey. Let's get on with it. I need my Big Mac. Come on, let's roll."
you know, my Big Mac, and I want to. Is your ice cream machine working?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah. I need to come back. I can't see the chat or anything, so this is annoying me. I just got this new computer. So I'm gonna refresh it. Let me see if that'll work. 1 second.
Okay. All right, we got Justin back.
Damn it, it's still not working.
I mean, too many things that he has said add up to what we actually know in, black and white. And if any of the neighbors want to come up, as long as this has been disclosed to law enforcement, which I was told over and over, they have been here many times.
Right.
They got all of our ring footage. The CPS was because of the mattress in the garage, because Chris Proudfeet said he was tired of smelling piss. And that's why
Yes.
Sebastian was in the garage on the mattress.
I think that's been a long is that what she said? He said, sorry, pardon
Yep.
me. Is that what he said?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't hear that part. I apologize. I don't know. I mean, the neighbors, from the neighbors that I've spoke to, they kind of kept to themselves, but nobody really, the ones that they did talk to, they just didn't really. There was a couple neighbors particularly that didn't really care for Chris.
None of them do. None of them do.
Yeah.
Because, he's done nothing but show his ass anytime they're around him. And, him saying, "I'll put a size 14 in your ass," that's crazy. All right, let's get to it.
Okay, is he Dumbo the clown? A size 14? How tall is he?
Exactly. That's what I said.
He's a dumpy little smurf. Are you kidding me? Now, my husband wears a size 13 in boots and a 12 in shoes, but he's got the pecker to back it up. All of Chris's ex-wives have said he can't close the deal. Sorry, I'm not trying to get you horny, Justin. It's the truth.
No, you're not. Trust me. You're not. With Chris in it? No, I'm sorry. So, no, he's... He can't be over 5'8".
8. Yeah, I think he's
5'9".
5'8". Hey, my fiance that passed away, he wore a size 15 shoe and he was 6'5". So I don't know anybody that wears a 14 that's 5'8".
Look at his ears, Justin. I mean, this guy is like a garden gnome. You ever seen a garden gnome with size 14 Ariats on? No.
Right.
No.
I see what you're saying. No, I see what you're saying. Um,
He'd be tripping over his own feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for him.
I'll give him an 8, 8.5 at the most.
This
mean,
is what we're
I'm-
dealing with.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to knock, but I'm just, but I mean, I personally think that that I mean, well, you just have, well, if you ask the FBI, which they're already involved,
Mhm.
you have this, now you had the Secret Service was at our house.
At your house.
Um, they were going actually, actually door to door. And they were asking questions.
Well,
And-
okay, I'm so sorry I keep interrupting. This is confirmed by law enforcement that they did bring in other agencies to go door to door. And so they did bring the Secret Service out of Nashville, FBI, TBI, because, well, if you have a lot of food to cook, you need extra sous chefs, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. I mean, they need all the help they can get.
Mhm.
You know, it feels like this. If there's not going to be anything soon, it feels like it's going to be Summer Wells 2.0.
It is already that way. You have Katie who jumps in her vehicle and drives around for 10 minutes.
Well, you know what's interesting to me? Like, she's in the car in like a couple, like at 6 o'clock. She had to go in there and check on right Sebastian, and then pretty much just jump in the car, which is kind of odd to me. She didn't look around the house very long. She could have, based on the time.
No, not at all. No. And I don't know exactly what time she called Big Dick Boots. I don't know.
Right.
I will say that they have a lot of agencies involved. And as we have known from other cases, well, I'll just put it out there. I mean, the Gannon Stout case, they use the
Right.
Secret Service to search the phones.
Yes.
Much for it not being a criminal investigation, you have a lot of agencies involved, do we not? For something that's not criminal.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. You have the TBI, which they've been here as well.
Okay.
You have the Secret Service, they've been here as well. You have the FBI, they've been here as well. And those are the three agencies. Outside of the Sheriff's Department, outside of Henderson, outside of PD. So where they could say it's actually that there's no foul play, or it's actually, or that there's no criminal investigation, I think they need to address that. They need to say, why do they feel that way? And now, I understand if they're trying to build a case on someone, or, I mean, you don't want to give that other person the upper hand. So,
Oh, and I totally agree with that. And I know people want more answers. They want more answers. They want more answers.
Mhm.
But it's best, to not tell, the mouse what's on the other side of the cheese.
yeah. And then like I just said, you have, Rich, I feel sorry for Seth. And I feel sorry for actually Chris and actually Katie for what they're going through. But now to say that I think actually this side's guilty or that side's guilty, or, I think.
And of course, we don't know who is guilty, involved, or what. But I did find something interesting. Hold on. This should make Chris Proudfoot feel better. Did you know that Michael Jordan has a size 13 foot?
Wow.
His left foot is a size 13 and a half. Oh, I'm sorry. Size 13 on his left foot and a size 13 and a half on his right.
Interesting.
But at 5'6" and 200 pounds soaking wet, old Chrissy Poo has a size 14 in a boot. Huh. We're learning all
Wow.
kinds of stuff today, Justin.
That is. That's amazing. That's amazing.
How does he have such a big foot? And he's at the neighborhood barbecue saying, I'll put a size 14 in your ass.
He wishes.
Interesting. Have you had any, I say too much, explain me. Have you had any correspondence with Chris Proudfeet?
Not directly, no. I have. No,
Okay.
I have to tell you.
We'll do it off air. Yeah.
If you look at the whole picture, there's a lot of things that just, okay, they left Texas Roadhouse, but that was the actual last, it's actually sighting of Sebastian. So from the morning, now she called Chris, and you do know that he's working on a new wing of St. Jude.
Yes, that's what he said. Yeah. And he was on, and according to the private investigators, he was on the crane at 5:15 a.m. Now, it doesn't mean that it was started up, doesn't mean it was running due to the noise ordinance, but that's Seth's private investigators. I wouldn't
Hey,
know.
Brooke.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yesterday, Chris said that on some job sites, they run 24/7, the cranes.
Mhm.
And he said he is now working nights.
So they gave him the graveyard shift. And for people calling St. Jude's to ask if he works there, you're not going to get anywhere because, for one, I'm just going to say it's a HIPAA violation.
Yeah,
And
they're not
two,
gonna
he
send-
doesn't work directly for St. Jude's. He works for a local union.
Right. They're not going to tell you.
And I was really into the noise ordinances and stuff like that until I put it together. It's a hospital. See, if you're building hospitals, police stations, fire departments, things that are considered
Vital.
essential,
Hmm.
they're not going to deal with that. They're not going to ticket anyone for making noise.
Yeah.
And also,
But-
he works for a union. He doesn't work directly for the hospital. He's put on different jobs.
Right. But a lot of hospitals, they don't work weekends either. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do it where he's at, but especially Sundays. But I don't know.
He wasn't working on Sunday. He just didn't come home for some reason. And we hear the neighbors saying, no, he was home in February. He was at the Texas Roadhouse with Katie and Sebastian 2 weeks prior. Sebastian was wanting something at the restaurant, and Chrissy Poo came unglued upset, and they left the restaurant. He was home in February.
Yep, I did hear that. And there's no way, in my opinion, Chris was not at home at all in February. He has to know what's going on.
That's right. That was my question to the neighbor too. The same. I had to ask, was he there that month? Like he stated he was not, and he said absolutely he was.
Yep.
But he wasn't there that weekend, according to Seth's private investigators, who say they can back it up by law enforcement but can't put out what they want to, which I respect that.
Doesn't mean, was he there that night?
Right.
Did he meet someone?
Right.
Was he working on wife number 6? Because when Child Protective Services got involved, he said to Harley Ho, he said to her, he said, this marriage is not going to work out. He said, he goes or I go. Okay. That weekend, he supposedly was not home. Why was Seth kept away from his son? And the neighbors have spoken with Seth. He has gone door to door asking people what they know, what they have seen.
Good question.
You had Seth on camera at the county jail. And that's where the timeline, that's where it stops. I mean, it's because nobody knows what happened. Before the 911 call, well, okay, they didn't call 911. They called dispatch. And they actually called, it's actually dispatch, because their friend, she works in dispatch.
Is it a relative or what? Because I heard that. And that would actually make more sense. Like I would rather get a hold of someone that I know. And I'm not taking up for anyone. It's just, things have to make sense to me. But I mean, 911 makes more sense to me than anything.
Now, you would think that, but I went back and forth with actually, it's my wife about this.
Mhm.
And I said, who would you have called if, now, I have 5 kids. If, well, they're adults now.
Mhm.
But if actually one of our kids, when they were young, went missing, She said I would probably call you first, and then I would call. It's actually 911.
Yep.
So that doesn't sound. It's actually strange, and
Now, will your wife come on the show tomorrow as well? Because I'm getting all of this documented right now. Will she come on tomorrow as well?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is I'm going to go through all of this that we've gone through because I might have some
Okay.
other questions for you. Just disguise your name. Don't put your phone number out. I mean, obviously, text me your phone number. That would be great.
Yeah.
You have mine.
Oh, yeah. Here. I'll give it to you now if you have a pen.
I don't. Just email it to me.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty.
Or text me or whatever, and then we will do this show tomorrow. And
Okay.
I mean, it's for Sebastian.
Yeah, hey, that's what the goal is for. I mean, we have to bring him home.
Mm-hmm.
We have to find out what's going on, and then here, I'm just going to say this in closing, and this is something that I'm sure that if there's one person that has not actually thought about this, then I think they're just way out there, is actually this. It's been over 2 months. He is 15 years old. Now, you look at this, and you have to think of this. He has to be eating food.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he getting food?
Where is he getting food? Where is he getting water? Why did they have him in pull-ups? Why were they withholding food from him? Why did they have a mattress in
This
their
place was a
garage?
boot camp.
I
It
agree, Justin. I
A
agree.
straight up boot camp.
Mhm.
Nothing else.
Before we go on to the rest of the show, if you guys could take a second and hit the like. I always forget to ask you guys that. I'm sorry. But have you ever been sprayed with a pressure washer before, Justin?
Yes, it hurts. It'll cut you if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm. I sprayed my feet with one a couple weeks ago. I didn't realize it would hurt that much.
Oh,
I
yeah.
almost thought I was going to break a toe.
Yes. Yep, it can cut you. If you're not careful.
Where are you at with this case? Do you think he truly just walked out the front door?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I don't believe kids just disappear. I don't think that I don't think he would have just wandered off barefoot, whether it was 26 degrees or 62 degrees. I don't believe it. I think he would have been seen on cameras. There would have been something of a scent. It didn't matter which way you went, northeast, south, or west. The camera should have picked you up. There should have been a dog scent. And it just doesn't make sense. You hear a thud and you don't check on your autistic son who is prone to seizures anyway. And just being a parent in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, just being a parent in general. And if your normal day-to-day is if you hear a noise, our kids make noise, okay?
Mm.
If your general day-to-day is turn down the music, turn down the video game, get back to bed, or
Right.
brush your teeth or whatever. But the way she mentions the thud, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
First, it was she just heard him playing in there about 10 o'clock. And she said, "What did it sound like?" She's like, "He was just in there playing. Just sound like he was in there playing." And it's a thud and all of that. And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that they're talking 3 hours. They talk 3 hours a night. I don't believe that, in my opinion. Just so much of this doesn't make sense. They've changed their story so many times. You know, it's
I mean, the changing of stories I can't figure out. And why was it so important for the general public to know that Chris was not home that entire month? And then Seth is saying, I didn't see him that month. It was like one thing after another. We already know about the custody issues with Chris's daughter, Faith.
right.
We
Mhm.
know from the documents that the family court wanted to speak to Sebastian.
Correct.
Chris does not like to be called out, given rules, told what to do. He's like a man child. Instead of just doing what he's been told within reason,
Mhm.
well, why this? Why this? Why that? Why they want me?
Dictator.
Yeah, that's exactly. He wants everything his way.
Yeah, and that is one thing that now, since you touched on that, I will say one thing, and this is known to law enforcement from my neighbor that actually lives on the left of them, is that you had Chris did not want him in the house sometimes because he would urinate the bed.
So that's what
So-
the bed was for.
That's what the bed was for inside the garage. Yes.
Wow. But see,
Now-
another one of your neighbors reached out to me and won't go on record and said that Chris was washing off the fifth wheel or something. And Sebastian was just, just kind of goofing around like a kid does. And he started spraying him down with water, and Sebastian didn't want to be wet. And it
Yeah.
freaked him out.
That's what I was telling you just a few minutes ago when they were doing some.
Okay, we'll get back to that because it's very important. All right, spraying him with the hose, the pressure washer, whatever you want to call it. We don't purposely make anyone uncomfortable. Now, we also certainly do not put a mattress in the garage because a child might have an accident. That's not the way to teach them to use their bladder.
Absolutely. It's the craziest thing. There was rumors that, they locked Sebastian in his room.
Mhm.
I would like to know what Sebastian, told the teachers, and the teachers told CPS, but Chris would not even discuss it.
Yeah.
Because a 15-year-old comes to school and is suddenly wearing adult diapers, pull-ups. Pull-ups are for 4T and, a toddler. So let's get it straight. He had on adult diapers. Okay?
Yeah. Sad.
Something outside now. This wasn't the same time. This was a different time. He was working on his truck, and you had Sebastian was outside. I don't know what happened, but Chris started screaming and hollering at the top of his lungs, and it went on for a good probably probably a good minute or so, and then you didn't hear nothing at all. And so, I mean, I don't know if he might have touched a tool, or, I mean, I'm just taking a guess, because that I don't know. But I do know what you're talking about, because, and I know who you're talking about,
Mhm.
who told you, because it could only be one, that he was washing down and he soaked Sebastian, and Sebastian went into like he just started to I mean he just had a meltdown. And that's when Kate came out and actually got him, because he didn't like being wet.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to be sprayed down by the hose either. Now, my understanding is that CPS was called about something Chris said. It wasn't about the spanking with the belt, but it was because he would tell him, you have to sleep in the garage because I don't want to smell piss.
Yeah. And that's what actually my neighbor, I mean, that's the one who lives to the left of actually Chris. Because CPS went.
Before we get to the rest of this, our friend Kat said, if they made Sebastian sleep in the garage, how do we know that wasn't where he was sleeping on the night he went missing? Could the thud have been him slamming the door and leaving?
I mean, perhaps it could have been.
Still,
I don't think. Well, I mean, him by leaving by himself, I don't think so. I just don't. I don't think that child moved out of that place by himself.
I don't think he was in his room.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think he was in his room, particularly with what we know now, that mattress, and Chris Proudfoot said that mattress was received after he went missing. No, not according to neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
There was a mattress in that garage. It's a 3-car garage because Chris Proudfoot said he didn't want to smell piss anymore.
Wow.
And we can scream from the rooftops all the time about neighbors, but how much do we really pay attention?
Well, I mean, we just wave our hands at our neighbors, most
Yeah.
of us, and while we're out in our, mowing the lawn or something. And that's about it. We don't know what's going on in our neighbor's home, but that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Chris said that Sebastian likes to, soil his pants, his underwear.
That's disgusting that he
That
said
made
that.
me so angry.
Me
Nobody
too.
likes that.
No.
And I think the question is, considering we have heard from multiple people about his sensory issues. I mean, so much where he wouldn't go outside without shoes on. I don't have that problem. I walk around without shoes on all the time. You're honestly telling me that he likes to sit in his own feces?
No. Yeah, that's horrible that he said that.
Yeah, he liked to sit in his own shit. They called him Mr. Piss Pants at school.
Wow.
Who would say that?
No.
Went over there to ask actually them questions. Now, I'm down the block at the corner, so they wouldn't necessarily come here,
Mhm.
but went, they went to the left and to the right, and that is exactly what my neighbor said, is that's why CPS was called, and they told him he can't be sleeping in that garage. And that's when my neighbor, I wish I could get him on the show. He turned, he heard, it's actually Chris, in a big argument saying to Katie, I don't think this marriage is going to last.
Okay, CPS said Sebastian can't be sleeping in that garage. Chris Proudfeet gets mad and says, I don't think this marriage is going to last. This little man syndrome has gone through the roof. And as we know with Child Protective Services, they tell you to clean it up. And when they come back, things need to change. Now, we don't know when CPS was coming back. We've seen this in other cases. When the government comes to knocking, they go to rocking. Does anyone think that that might be a motive?
I do.
I mean,
Sure.
the picture is becoming more than crystal clear.
Yes. I feel like if this many neighbors witnessed such behavior, think about what actually happened behind closed doors as well. I mean, it's really horrifying for Sebastian.
It is. It's beyond disturbing. It's beyond disgusting.
How far do you think he is? Like, I think he is beyond what they are searching. I think if he was in the area that they have been searching, they would have found him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there needs to be crews, of people searching between, Nashville and Memphis, which is
And
a
they
long,
searched
long
that.
way.
We have seen the entire map that they have searched. They have been up and down Highway 412. They have been to the landfill. Where is he? Where is he? He's not wandering around this 5-mile radius.
No.
No.
What are you doing? Eating elm leaves? Drinking water out of the creek? He's nowhere around there.
I mean, we're heading into summer, right? He went missing the end of February. It's May.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
They would have found some sort of evidence of him being around that area. I mean, if he did just walk off, you know what I mean?
Something.
There would be something that would be found.
Let me ask you both this question and everyone in chat. By the way, if you haven't taken time to hit the like, please do so. I'll do
And
the
subscribe. And
Oh my-
subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. We're into long-term commitments over here.
talking about. And if someone can drop the link to Justin's channel, please do. Forgive my manners.
Oh, that's okay.
Why, when the supposed AI generated photo of Sebastian in North Carolina was put up, why did the Proudfeets not go to North Carolina? Why is it only Seth there?
Because they are not looking. You don't look for something that is not missing.
That's right.
Sebastian, in my opinion, only my opinion, please don't think, my opinion is not Chloe's or Brooks. I just want to make that clear. In my opinion, they know exactly where Sebastian is.
Because if one of my children was missing, and whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, if someone sends me a picture saying, "Hey, this looks like your son," I wouldn't just sit on my ass and go, "Oh hell, I don't have time for that today."
I would have
I'll
been
be
in the
out the
car
door.
and asking addresses later. I would have just got in the freaking car and started heading that way.
Yep. Me too.
And
One thing you can't
but
do is
I
stop a
don't know.
determined parent.
But now
Yeah.
I can't say anything else about, like, I can't say what I don't know. What I can do is I can drive down there later, which is just, well, I take a walk.
Hey, by the
And-
way, where are you originally from? Because you don't have a Tennessee accent.
I told you in the message, I'm
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because that's personal information. Nobody needs that. I didn't have the email that he had sent me. Yes, it's a man. And in closing, because Chloe, you talked to this guy for a long time yesterday.
Yes, I did. Yeah. I fully believed what he had to say. I felt that it wasn't only just him. He was speaking for himself, of course, but he was talking about other neighbors and things that they had seen. These people have all they didn't invite him to their neighborhood grill out parties because of his behavior. I mean, there's a lot that has gone on here that these people have actually seen, and I think that really needs to be taken into account.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of people, which is, here's the thing with the neighbors coming on panel. This is one thing I do not want. I don't want people tracking them down, harassing them, going to their door. They have nothing to do with Sebastian's disappearance.
Absolutely. I 1000% agree.
And with Chris Proudfoot being so volatile, we don't want that.
No, I mean, just, let the cops deal
Their
with it.
job. They cannot do their job if we're interfering with it. You ever
Correct.
had a boss that micromanages you?
Yes.
It's like every 2 seconds. What are you doing? What are you working on? What's going on? Da, da, da. Oh, why are you doing this? It's like I can't do my fucking job if you keep asking me.
Right. Exactly.
And something he said yesterday really rang true to me as well. That especially when they were talking about the Secret Service has been there and TBI, FBI, etc. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that obviously they're not letting out because that's what they have to do to build a case. So we don't know a lot right now. But with some of these facts that we've heard now, and, in my opinion, I do not believe Sebastian walked out of there. I think this was like a pre-planned thing or something. But there's a lot of this that you really have to take into account and really think about it through your mind. Each of us have our own opinions, but realize it. Think of all of these things added up, what we've seen on YouTube, what we've heard from neighbors, etc. Think about how bad all of this is when you add it all up.
I mean, I also wonder about, how No Ass Chris, he takes that fifth wheel down to Horn Lake, Mississippi. He unhooks the truck and he goes to Tunica and he gets on those river boats quite a bit. he gambles, he does the whole 9 yards. So is that more important than going home and taking care of your home,
Right.
seeing your family? He wouldn't have a snowball's chance in Cuba of getting custody of his daughter. And he never won it in the first place.
I think mom wants it. I think his mom wants it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about, 2019 or 2020 when the Bauer Sox took all the grandkids to Disney World, but didn't take Sebastian because they said he's too much of a handful. So you're going to leave one child behind? We all have that child in our family that is more rambunctious, okay?
Absolutely.
That needs more attention. We know. But are you going to say, no, you got to stay home? We're all going on vacation
Yeah,
and
it's not Home Alone, right?
no. Mm-mm.
Remember the movie Home Alone?
Oh, I know. I love that movie.
Kevin!
Hmm.
I love that movie.
I don't know, but we're gonna get through some more stuff. It's just so disgusting the way this child was treated, and I mean, it's just horrible.
It is.
It is unbelievable.
I mean, because Sebastian liked to eat sushi, he was called a faggot.
I mean, that's awful. I mean, you should never use that word at all ever. But then to call your stepson that and over sushi, like, I mean, oh my God.
Well,
That
Chris
pisses
called
me off more than anything.
Chris called me that, and I'm like,
Oh,
what?
I know he did.
What?
I guess he likes that word. Hey, the neighbor did say he's homophobic.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, what are you talking about? I was explaining to him, what moves were and everything, and he just kept calling me that. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I got to go to work, guys. I love all of you. I love you, Justin.
Love you too, my dear.
I love you, Brooks. And if
All
there's
right,
anything,
don't work too hard, Chloe. Keep your phone on because, well, we got a lot of stuff again going on today.
well, that's what I was gonna say. If you need me for anything, let me know. Okay. I love you guys. Bye.
Love you.
Love
Love you, Justin. Thank you for being here.
Of
and-
course.
And all of you. And we don't know what the involvement is with Sebastian's disappearance, but I think we can all agree on this. Chris Proudfoot is a vile, mean.
Mother chicken.
Yep. There you go. All right. Love you, Justin. Everybody, big
Love you
hand
too.
of applause for Chloe and our wonderful friend Justin, both wonderful friends.
Please, Hercules, Hercules.
You guys have a great rest of your TGIF. And by the way, Mod Squad, thank you so much. We don't have very many moderators. So how they all keep everything going, I will never know. But I'm going to get my Friday going. My husband's coming home.
Whoop, whoop.
Woo, boy, he's going to look like Jodie Foster as soon as he walks in the door. Brooks is feeling it. All right.
TGIF.
You guys have a great rest of your day. Anyone that's asking me about law enforcement, do they know this? Do they know this? Yes, they do. They do. You're in good hands here. Sometimes. All right, Justin, we're out.
Bye-bye.